used to devour books when I was a kid, but becoming a grown-up really put a damper on my reading habit. So I kind of feel bummed that I only read 33 books in 2025. 35 if you count the 2 children's books about vultures that my friend's mom got from the local library. We love vultures in this household. What I don't love are books with a solid premise that turn out to be boring, especially when they're given excellent covers. That's a sucker punch for sure, but we'll get to that. Consider subscribing, and if you stick around to the end of the video, I'll tell you a little secret, which I totally didn't steal from Allie Ward of Ologies. The winner for worst book I read in 2025 goes to Stephen Graham Jones' I Was a Teenage Slasher. I hated it so much that originally I DNF'd it, and then for some reason I forced myself to read the rest. Honestly, my sole joy is now being able to rage spoil the ending of this book to those who ask. Seriously, just look at the cover. It's got B-movie campy goodness all over it. Bring back boys in crop tops and short shorts. And honestly, the premise was awesome. Tolly Driver, average kid, gets infected when a supernatural slasher / former classmate comes back from the dead to get his revenge. That's cool, right? Too bad that's not what I got. For a book with such a great idea, it was somehow incredibly boring. I thought, okay, the book's off to a slow start. The scene with the actual slasher doing his slasher thing, getting revenge on the people who killed him, was actually pretty good. And that's where I should have stopped. It's so disappointing because there were super cool ideas in here. Like every time Tolly picked up what can be considered a murder weapon, it made that serial killer's got a weapon sound. You know the one. And it was really cool to see how events would shape themselves around the serial killer tropes. I was so bored, I thought my eyes were going to fall out of my head. I swear if this guy said it was La Mesa, Texas in 1989 one more time, I was going to become the slasher. It was so disappointing, and really the only saving grace is that I had borrowed it from my local library, meaning it cost me nothing except a wounded attention span. Dishonorable mention goes to Victorian Psycho by Virginia Fado. Again, great cover. Really dissatisfying story. I guess even in books, I don't really like gore for the sake of gore. At least it was short. Creepiest Book, no questions asked, goes to Incidents Around the House by Josh Mailerman. 8-year-old Bella is haunted by Other Mommy, who lives in her closet. She used to be nice. She used to play with Bella. But now she's getting angry because Bella won't let Other Mommy into her heart. Enjoyed is not the right word for this book experience. Very little terrifies me the way The Ring did in 2002, but Incidents Around the House had me looking sideways at open doors at night. I'm not even really sure I liked it. I mean, I did. It was a very solid book, but I kind of feel like that one is a one and done read, at least for a long time. Honorable mentions are Convenience Store Woman by Sayaka Murata, which was a weird experience, but way more enjoyable than Earthlings. Nat Cassidy's Mary, An Awakening of Terror, which was incidentally the last book I read in 2025. I enjoyed most of it, even if it didn't really make all that much sense in places. I thought it was a good story. Saratoga Schaefer's serial killer support group was incredibly fun. Admittedly, I didn't really read a lot of nonfiction this year, but Dinner with King Tut by Sam Keane is absolutely at the top of my list. For this book, he combined fiction with actual experimental archaeology, learning and experiencing what the lives of past civilizations may have been. By the way, I've been a fan of Sam Keane since I read The Disappearing Spoon, which is about the discovery of the periodic table of elements, and I want to be just like him and Mary Roach when I grow up. I picked up Unlikable Female Character from my library based solely on its cover. Anna Bukowskaya explores the tropes women on screen and IRL are boxed into based on stereotype. I enjoyed this book so much, I purchased a copy, which I don't have yet, but am excited to own. Last for nonfiction, we have The Haunted History of Invisible Women by Liana Renee Huber and Andrea James. Andrea James owns and operates Burrows of the Dead, which is a ghost tour company in New York City. And Liana is an author of Gaslight Fantasy, a ghost tour guide, and actress. And I might be just a little bit biased because we're friends. Haunted History is a fascinating look at exploitation in the ghost tourism industry, emphasizing the very real lives of women that we now basically use as entertainment, kind of in the similar vein of true crime. Whether you believe in ghosts or not, I feel like I learned a lot for this book, and I'm excited for America's Most Gothic, which comes out later this year. Silvia Moreno Garcia's Mexican Gothic was hands down the best book I read this year. I can't rave about it enough. It was clever, visceral, kind of gross, and gorgeously written. Socialite Noemi is sent to investigate her cousin's claims that her husband is trying to murder her. It's worse. This is another book I would love to own a physical copy of. I'm trying to be more intentional with the books I purchase. 1, because they're expensive. 2, because they're heavy to move. And 3, I want to own things I intend to read again. Deanna Raybourne's sequel, Kills Well with Others, was also great. I love lady assassins, and I love older lady assassins, and hijinks, and an organized crime syndicate that fashions itself after a museum. It Will Only Hurt for a Moment by Delilah S. Dawson is just as creepy, sinister, and creative as everything else she's written. Well, I think Guillotine and Bloom are probably my 2 favorites in that order. There is nothing quite like a Delilah Dawson horror novel. Ceramicist Sarah Carpenter is rebuilding her life, herself, her creative spark. She gets into a prestigious art retreat where she'll have her own studio. But when she unearths a body while trying to dig a kiln, things get scarier than the past she's running from. Lastly, 2025 was the year I finally finished reading The Shadow War by Lindsay Smith. It wasn't that I didn't enjoy it, I loved it. I just didn't want it to be over. It's a little closer to home these days, but sad boys, shadow monsters from another realm, science, and punching Nazis, what's not to love? Oh, that was a long list. Have you read any of these books? Am I totally wrong about the ones I hated? Most importantly, what are you reading this year? Thanks for hanging out with me, and as promised, I'm going to tell you a secret. When I was a kid at the library summer reading program, I was accused of being involved in some sort of baseball memorabilia scam. Every day there was a random hat drawing for some Braves merchandise, and I won. Every single time. I even swapped tickets with the other kids. It's probably the luckiest I will ever be in my life. I don't even like baseball.